So this is an overview of the new scoring system that we're going to use, the Science Olympiad scoring system. And you're going to be given a user ID and password that's one for each event. And when you go to this site, you'll type in your user ID and your password. And the first thing that you're going to be asked is your name and your phone number. So I'm going to go ahead on this one because this is a test site. I'm going to enter my name, going to enter my phone number, and then I'm going to save that. Now, we're going to be able to see who's gotten to this step. So if you're not in early, we probably will send someone around to check. So then you'll go and you will see a list of, you'll only see a list of really one event, because at state I've only given one event to each person. I've got two in here because I have made that decision, but you're only going to see one. By the way, if you don't see this page, it might say you're not allowed here. Make sure you click on scoring. So that'll take you to this page. So let's say I'm going to judge and enter scores for Mission Possible. So I'm going to click on that, and you're taken to a page that's got the team numbers, the team name, and then the scores. So in this case, and I selected this one because Mission Possible is a very complex scoring. There is an electronic spreadsheet that's available on our website that's already got the names of the teams and the numbers entered into it. So you're going to use the Excel spreadsheet to calculate the raw score. From that, you're going to enter the raw score calculated here. So this is going to be the final raw score number. It could be out of 100 points. It could be out of 1,000,000 points. It doesn't matter. We have got this programmed on the back end so that high score wins. We've got two events where low score wins. That's programmed in as well. So I'm going to start entering scores, and you'll notice briefly that it turns yellow. And while it's yellow, it's not saved. When it's no longer yellow, it has been saved to the server. So depending on how many people will hit this, it could take a few seconds for it to go from yellow back to clear. But as you see here, it's showing the places as we go along. Okay, now if I've got an NS, the no-show team, you notice in this case, no-show is equivalent to 21, because if you recall, we're only ranking the top 20 teams. So now let's say we have a tie. Okay, I'm going to type in a tie. Well, in that case, it highlights in red, and then it produces a new drop-down. And this indicates, well, where there's a 1 and a 2. So what this means is, if, let's say, B5 won the tie, so they got first place in the tie, they're the one that the tie break went in their favor, you will enter 1. So that puts them in third place. Then let's say this one lost, that puts them into fourth place. Now let's say you had another tie. Okay, so now we've produced another set of ties, and now you'll notice that there's 3. So you might want to wait to the end of the day to select these values. Okay, so because you may have ties later in the hours, so you want to wait to enter in the tie break. So just leave those as they are. But again, all the data is being saved up onto the server. Okay, let's say you've got a team that comes in and there's no way that they can run their device, and so they have a P. So they have a participation point. Okay, now in this case, it ranks 6. The reason it ranks 6 is because we've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams in. The P is a value that's given to them that is last place among the teams that show up. Now, at state, we've got 42 teams that are showing up. As more and more teams come into this, that value is going to start to drop. So you see it starts to drop to 7, 8. So eventually it's going to get to 20 and then hang at 20, unless there's a huge number of teams that rank as a P. We had this happen at one of the regionals where 4 teams were able to run their car, it was a vehicle event, and then the rest got P's. So that means everybody got 4th or 5th place as a P, which is great. So it's a big advantage to just show up and do it even if you don't think you're going to do well. If there is a DQ, then you enter DQ. Very rare, but you notice here that they get last place plus 2, 22 points. All right, let's say you're going back through and you realize somebody did not follow the rules. They had a construction violation, and according to the rules, they have to rank into Tier 2. So you notice here, I'm going to change this one from Tier 1 to Tier 2. Right now they're in 2nd place. However, when I change it to Tier 2, it now takes them to 7th place. So they are actually beyond all the ones that even do fairly poorly because of this tier ranking. So that will be a step that you'll do. At the end of the day, after you fill everything in, so right here we've got 42, then you'll hit submit and locked. Now, it's going to toss you 3 screens here. Now this one, it'll say, oh, you can't do anything because you don't have all of the dialog boxes filled in. So this has not been locked. Okay, but let me go ahead and enter in a bunch of scores so that you sort of see the effect here. So I've gone ahead and filled all this in, and I'm going to need to break these ties, so I'll just do 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and so I look through here, and there's a couple ties, and there's a couple tiers. So at the end of the day, I'm going to go ahead and hit submit and lock. Now, if you leave the screen inactive for 30 minutes, you're going to get logged out automatically. So check to make sure that you're still logged in as you're doing this, but it should send you to a login screen if you are logged out automatically. But you might every once in a while just log yourself out, log yourself back in to make sure you're actually in and everything's going up. But you notice as you go through this, you're not hitting save on anything. At the end of the day, after you've got all of the results in, you'll go through, click OK, 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 and now it says event is locked. If this was not intended, please contact me. So contact me, and you contact me by sending me a text message, not making a phone call, but a text message, and we will go ahead and unlock that for you. So at this point, at the end of the day, you'll take your results in rank order and head on over to score counseling. So this will be in the Creel building. So that's pretty much the extent of this. You'll only do one of these. Anybody can get in there and enter the scores. You can have a dedicated person, but we think this is going to really clean up our score counseling issues because it's you enter the data and then we don't touch the data, unlike what we've had in the past. So we've tried this at 7 regionals. It went very well. It really sped up the process of even going through score counseling. So you'll find that it will be a lot faster process. So key thing is making sure you bring a laptop for the electronic spreadsheet for calculating raw scores for the engineering events, and then a tablet, an iPhone, an iPad, a Android device, laptop, whatever for this, because it's all web-based.